Hey planners, it's Teo Shantae Plans and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'll be memory planning in my Sadie Stickers B6 vertical planner, and I am using two journaling kits, one from Lexie Kylie Designs and another from Miss and Meow. And I decided to combine these because the color palettes in both of these journaling kits were so similar, and I felt like they would really complement each other, and also because I wanted to try something completely different in this video, using a journaling kit to make a complete weekly spread. And so I haven't done this before, and so this was really fun to give a try. And I was looking at these two journaling kits, and not only were the colors really compatible, but there were different elements from both kits that I thought were going to give me a really full and perfect spread, and I was going to be able to pull together something that I knew was going to work for me. So I got really excited about that thought and that opportunity. So I'm starting by putting down the bottom washi, and there were these really awesome long washi strips from the Lexie Kylie Designs kit, and then for the top I used some branches from Honey Inked, and just made sort of a little branch connection design between some of the clip art. And so we have a mix of both the Miss and Meow and the Lexie Kylie Design clip art that I am layering just in this section and sort of creating my own bottom washi, which is one of the things that I really enjoy doing. I think that when you're playing around with creating your own bottom washi, one of the tips that I would give for anyone who wants to give this technique a try is there's essentially sort of three elements to it. Your base or your background, your focal point, and then sort of supporting elements. And so for me, of course, the long washi strip is giving me the base in the background and giving me that nice wash of color in the background. And then I've got two focal points that I placed on each end. And so we've got sort of the little layering cluster on one side where it had the pumpkins and then the backpack, and those were both on each end of that section of the bottom washi. And then on the other page, I did the same thing with this clothing stack and then the pumpkins. And so those created the focal points, and then the supporting deco is just the branches that are going between. It's just those foiled branches, which they're a little less attention grabbing, but they do make an important statement on the page, and so it's nice to have. So just a little tip for anyone who might be interested in trying out making their own date cover deco. If you kind of focus on giving yourself a good background, a nice focal point, and then some supporting deco along with it that doesn't take up more attention than your focal points, then you're on the right track, and it's a good way to go. It's so funny because I used to do planner classes in my Patreon, and just like talking through that concept just sort of took me back into sort of like teacher mode. I really love planner stickers and talking about them and teaching techniques and things about them, and just because everything got kind of really busy for me, and now owning a planner shop with Ray and Tay, it's just I had to reprioritize some things, and I just unfortunately don't have as much time to like teach and stuff like I used to, which sucks because I definitely still have that all of that stuff like running through my brain every time I'm looking at planner spreads. So I may have to try to find a way to give myself an outlet for that. But I'm glad I shared that with you guys. I hope that was helpful for anyone who might be interesting and not too boring for anyone who did not care. Anywho, moving on to the top of the page, we are going over the date cover deco section, and there were these really large floral pieces on these deco sheets, and I knew I wanted to pull those into the top and make those just these big statement floral pieces. And then I took these are the what are those? The trim dividers from Sadie Stickers, the foiled ones. Those are from Sadie Stickers. I placed them along the sides of these large floral pieces, which I cut down just a little bit because they were very, very tall. Just super huge statement pieces, because of course this is designed to go on a journaling spread, and so on that type of spread you would have much more room. But wanting this to be at the top of the column of my page, I knew I had to take that down just a bit, but it still made just a really beautiful statement at the top of the page. And then I'm going to pull in some more of the branches from Honey Inked, which I really enjoyed doing. I think the branch deco from Honey Inked gave a little bit more of that autumn feel, and even though I think this is the week technically like right before autumn begins, everything about this kit and the color palette felt very, very autumn to me, so I was certainly leaning into it, which I tend to do it's like the beginning, even like definitely towards the middle of September, but sometimes even closer towards the beginning. Once I hit September, I go right into fall mode, and I'm wanting fall kits, transitioning kits, and things that give me all those autumn vibes. And I think that's because I feel like it's a season that I really, really enjoy. It gets interrupted by a lot of holidays, and then for me, even I was also typically take a vacation around October, so it limits some of the autumn kits that I'm able to use in my planner. So when it's time for a season change, I go right for it because I want to get as much fall in my planner as possible. Finishing up the date cover deco section with a few of these dot clusters from Paper Trail Plans, which I absolutely adore. And I just think it gives such a nice little finishing touch, and when the light catches it, oh my gosh, the foil, just amazing. Moving into my sidebar, I had so much fun working on this sidebar. I started by placing down one of the deco, and at this point I'm probably going to get it wrong, so I'm not even going to try to guess which one of the deco sheets I got these images from. Thankfully, I showed the deco sheets at the beginning of this video, so if you're curious where anything came from, I would just go back to the beginning of the video where I'm flipping through the two sheets, and you can see if the image came from Lexie Kylie Designs journaling kit or the Miss Meow. But that bookshelf, super duper adorable, and I use that as the background for my month script. And then I wanted to use this gorgeous fashion doll from Red Lyrics. I thought she was super adorable, and I loved her green jacket, which I thought picked up perfectly on the green tones in this kit. And so I placed down some of the washi strips under her feet to sort of give her a base so she wasn't just like floating in the sidebar, which I thought grounded her really, really nicely, and was also nice because I had done so much with that large pumpkin in the date cover deco area. I needed something that was a little bit more structured stacked on top of that so that it wasn't too much happening with like all of the florals and the fashion doll that I was adding into the sidebar. I wanted to have a little bit of balance, and I really liked the way those washi strips help balance that out, and I thought that came out super cute. Oh, I think it was the Lexie Kylie Designs one also had those really cute little strips with cute little quotes on them, and one said "change is beautiful," and I absolutely wanted to use that in the sidebar. So I placed that down underneath the month section. I thought it looked gorgeous, embellished it with some of the floral deco, and added a cute little divider from the Pretty Pink Co. and then a bow from Sadie Stickers. Moving on to my full boxes. Now this was a ton of fun because of course I was using journaling kits, so they did not have full boxes. So I got the opportunity to make my own full boxes for this spread, which was just like, oh my gosh, let's have fun. Let's try something different here. And completely inspired, I think like the day before I sat down to do this, Britt from Britt Plans on Instagram, she'd posted a spread where she had double layered her torn washi paper and had like layered some foiled florals in between them. She did like an amazing job. I love the way she had layered that. But the idea of double layering my torn paper, I was like, oh my gosh, absolutely want to play around with that. And so I had the perfect opportunity the very next day, and so I double layered that, added some clip art deco, and then I'm using these string lights as sort of the top of my make my own full box, and even though technically it's not a full box, it's using the torn paper and then using the string lights as sort of my top and bottom parameters on that space, sort of gives the illusion of it making a full-on nice little box, and I really am happy with how that came together. So I'm now working on the third and final full box for the spread, which I have my torn paper, and I really like the way this one was layered, where they're sort of stacked in different directions, and then layered that large pumpkin underneath there, added some of the florals, and then of course I'm going to finish that off in the same way that I did with the other full boxes by bringing the garland to the top. And even the full box that I put on Thursday, which was just a large sticker from the kit, I added the string of garlands to that one so that all of the boxes would have a cohesive look going all the way across. And I felt like that helped pull it together really, really nicely. I think especially if you have a spread where you're doing something this completely freeform, anything you can do to bring in structure and consistency is going to be good to create balance. here's where I got super duper excited. I was looking through my boxes and realized from the Gathered Layers collab, which is the collab from Rachel of Gathered Plans and Panda Bird Design, they created just this entire range of like cute little shadow boxes, square boxes, circles, and mini tacos. But I had some of the squares and shadow boxes in the Gathered Layers color palette, which matched the colors of this so perfectly. That green was spot on, and then there was a beautiful raspberry and pink tone, and I was like, great, this is going to give me some colorful boxes. And I also knew I had these cute scallop boxes from Crafts by Towie that are just simple foil scallop boxes with whited out centers that are so easy and wonderful to write in, and the combination of both of those was going to give me the foil that I wanted to bring in for my boxes, and then some colorful boxes that I wanted to bring in so that it would really make this feel like a pulled together kit. And that was really exciting for me. So I started by marking that I was out of office. I was not feeling well that day, unfortunately. And then I marked that I saw the Little Mermaid trailer of that day. Oh my God. It's like, and it's like, you remember that feeling of being a kid and like seeing a Disney trailer and you're just like, wow. I fell in love with that trailer. Her voice is so incredible. I cannot wait to go see that movie. Like, I saw the trailer and I was just like, this is magical. And immediately like texted my friend Tiffany and I was like, babe, I'm still in your daughters and taking them to the movies to go see The Little Mermaid. You can come if you want to. It's literally what I texted my sister, like right after I saw that trailer. Which, by the way, I don't actually have any biological sisters. If you ever hear me refer to my sisters, I'm typically referring to Shandi or Tiffany, who are two of my besties, and they are not my biological sisters. We just have been together like forever and ever at this point. So we are like sisters. But moving on to Tuesday. Oh wait, no. Monday I was also finalizing a new design that I'm working on for Ray and Tay. I had someone comment, I think on one of my last videos, and was asking, "Ooh, when do we get to see the new design?" As soon as we can show you, I promise. As soon as we can. We are as excited to share this with you guys as you are to see what we're working on. But on to Tuesday, I put down a brushstroke for Miss Meow, and that came from the freebie that came with my order for Miss Meow, which was green and matched everything perfectly, which was so awesome. And then the date covers, which I so enjoyed using. Those were from the Lexie Kylie design journaling kit, and I loved the way she did it with the sort of double days design. And I thought it was really cute, bold, and very statement making, which again, I thought was super good, especially for this, the way this spread was coming together, because I love the fact that the date covers didn't get lost in everything else that was happening on the page. They really were bold and made a statement, but weren't overwhelming. Oh, so cute. So put down a third box to mark that I posted a shop with me video on Tuesday, and then it was just doing a little bit of reading and relaxing on to Wednesday. I slept in on Wednesday. Was I at home? Like, what happened? How are you sleeping in? I'm wondering if I marked sleeping in just to note that I did not get up and do any sort of workout, or I'm wondering if I was actually not feeling well that day. And who knows? But marked sleeping in on Wednesday. Then my happy planner arrived that day, which was so great because I wanted to try out seeing if you could use a kit and a happy planner, because sometimes people ask me questions about that, and I tried to and immediately realized why I switched from an A5 wide planner to a B6 planner. I really do not enjoy being in an A5 wide size planner anymore. That size is too big for me. I don't have as much to mark. I don't enjoy the amount of space that I have in the columns. It feels overwhelming at this point, and so it's just much better for me to be in a much smaller planner, which is why the B6 is totally working so much better for me right now. But I had picked up the classic size happy planner and a happy planner mini, and the classic size happy planner, I did one mock spread that I didn't even complete and walked away from that, never to look back. And the B6 mini planner, I have been trying to turn into a social media planner for myself to try to help myself stay organized and on top of everything that I've been posting, which is super helpful for me because ever since switching to this B6 planner, one of the things that has just been a great result for me, because it takes me less time to film, edit, and upload, I've been doing it so much more consistently, which has just been fantastic. But it means I'm posting a lot of content, and that's a lot of filming, editing, uploading, taking photos to post on Instagram, creating reels to post on Instagram, creating TikToks for Ray and Tay, because we have a Ray and Tay TikTok account. All of that content and all of that, keeping up with all of that, it's so good to get it out of my head, written down on paper, and then I don't have to think about it, and it does not keep me up at night going, what was that idea I was thinking that I wanted to do? Oh my gosh, let me tell you. Trust me when I tell you, it's such a good thing to be able to write that stuff down, because it absolutely was keeping me up at night, and I hate when I can't turn my brain off. And so, yeah, that has been coming in handy for me. And it's been nice because at this point, what I'm kind of doing with it is just seeing what I'm doing, sort of observing myself and just writing down what I'm doing with my social media. And then that way, once I figure out what I'm capable of doing, I can put myself on a better schedule and make sure I have days where I'm not doing anything at all. So I have built-in rest days and then days where I'm super duper productive. So that's my goal with that. And so far everything's going well, although I'm still very much at the beginning of figuring this whole thing out. On to Thursday, I edited my Two Little Bees plan with me. And then I listened to a criminal podcast, which you absolutely know that one came to me courtesy of my darling bestie, Ray of Gathered Plans. She loves her some murder podcasts, but this one wasn't even really a murder podcast. It was I think the podcast was called Criminal. The episode was absolutely fascinating, and she knew it was going to be something that I was going to be interested in. And it was talking about clergy who'd helped people back in the 70s with back before Roe v. Wade was put into law. And I was just like, wow, there's a story I absolutely had never heard of. And it was truly remarkable and like a fascinating story to listen to, and certainly unexpected. And so I definitely enjoyed listening to that podcast episode. Thank you so much, Ray, for sharing that with me. Finished my day with a bar workout, and then on to Friday, which I posted a reel and a TikTok, which. I gotta tell you, the awesome thing about that is if you create a reel, you can share it and post it on TikTok. And so sometimes you just gotta let your content work for you and not you work for your content. If you are someone like me who is posting on multiple platforms, don't be afraid to share the same thing on multiple platforms. It'll make your life a lot easier. And then I booked an excursion for St. Thomas. I'm going on a cruise next month, and so looking forward to it. And one of the things that I really enjoy about cruises is the planning process. Which totally makes sense for me, right? I'm a planner. And that it very much appeals to me. But it's one of the things that I really like about cruises, because before you get on the boat, everything can be completely planned out. I've already booked like our dinner reservations. I've already booked excursions. I've already, like, before we get on the ship, I'll be making reservations for the different shows that we're going to. Everything can be perfectly planned out. And that's not to say there aren't going to be things that we'll do spontaneously on the ship and decisions that we'll make when we're on the boat, but to the extent of what I can plan and making sure, of course, and then of course the necessary things, the lift to the airport to the shuttle to the hotel, from the hotel shuttling to the cruise port, and back home again. All of that stuff you can plan out and be completely organized and totally prepared for your vacation before you ever get on it. That part, I feel very, very organized and put together. And so, yes, I've been doing quite a bit of planning and have been very, very satisfied with how this vacation is coming together. But also, side note, excursion, because I've gotten a few comments from people because I had made the joke based on my previous experiences being bullied by a dolphin and a horse whilst on vacation, that I had considered an excursion that included like a hike and like a bird experience, like a wild bird experience in St. Thomas. And I love that the response from a few people was, Because I made the joke, I am staying away from animals on vacation because I don't want to be pecked to death. I have already been bullied by a dolphin and a horse. I do not need to be pecked to death by a bunch of birds. And I love that the response from people was like, yeah, we don't want you to be pecked to death either, but we do want the story. So we kind of want you to go on this bird excursion because we want the hilarious story in the plan with me, which I laughed so hard because that is absolutely something I would say. Oh, that is so, so very me. But no, I'm not sacrificing myself for a YouTube video. I'm sure I will come home with some sort of story from my next vacation anyways, because that just feels pretty true to who I am, and I am not sacrificing myself to a horde of birds to get a story. Anywho, on to Saturday, had a meeting with Ray, definitely working on some things for Ray and Tay. And then I went to an eyelash appointment, and I feel like I also ran a bunch of errands on that Saturday, just like the usual stuff, gas in the car wash, running to the store and things like that, going to the bank, normal Saturday type errands. And then on to Sunday, got up, painted my nails, which I always paint my nails, and I do dip nails, but I always just figure it's like basically the same thing. I uploaded my Two Little Bees plan with me, and then that evening did some meal prep, which I've been trying so hard to stay consistent with because it makes my weeks so much more efficient to have my lunches prepared and easy for me to just grab out of the refrigerator and take to go with me on my hybrid days when I'm in the office Monday through Wednesday. So really been enjoying trying to stay consistent with that. And I just got an Instant Pot, which I'm super excited about. And hopefully that should contribute some fun new things for me as well. This is my first time trying to use Journaling Kit to create a full spread, and this came out so amazing. It's something I absolutely would want to do again. I hope this inspired someone else to give this a try. I hope you all like this as well. Let me know in the comments if you think this is something you might try out, because it was a lot of fun. I hope you're all having an amazing day, and I will see you next video. Bye.